Good morning, my Subnautica fans. My name is Primacon, and today, finally, I thought, why not? Primacon, all you do is cope and mope about Silksong and talk about Silksong release date. Let's do that to Subnautica. Because I love views. On a serious note, if you're a hardcore Subnautica fan, I doubt in this video you'll have a big revelation. All of a sudden your third eye opens and you figure out, oh my god, my Subnautica knowledge just expanded. This video is more catered towards people who are more out of the loop. As personally myself as well, I don't have super cryptic information about Subnautica's lore like I do with Silksong, where I know every little minute thing that exists out there. Human brain can only hold so much information. But even then, I figured out a good way where we can have a nice fun discussion about Subnautica, Subnautica Below Zero, and some stuff that devs have said about Subnautica 2, pool it all together to get a pretty educated prediction on when this game might come out. And you're welcome to tell me in the comments how big of a piece of shit I am. Also, make sure to subscribe. I'm a YouTuber. I'm contractually obligated to tell you this every video. First, let's look at Subnautica's YouTube channel. So if you go to their videos and click on the oldest, the game was very first time announced all the way 10 years ago. We won't use Subnautica's first announcement as a base mark because it was way different for them back then. It was a very small indie studio trying to get their first big break, and they took a lot of help from YouTubers. If you guys don't know, Jacksepticeye talked about this in the very first Subnautica video he made of the full release, that the devs sent him a letter saying how they almost ran out of business and wanted to shut down, but watching Jack's zany fun adventures in Subnautica, it gave them the second win they needed to actually finish the game and get it all out. Very sweet stuff. But one thing we can take as a base for Subnautica is to look at the very first actual teaser trailer. Now mind you, before this teaser trailer there were a lot of development updates because again it was their first game, so it was very different back then. But even if you just open their teaser trailer real quick and check the date on it, it's December 16, 2014. Which the keen eye among you, the knowledgeable savants of the Subnautica community, might know that that's literally the day the game came out in early access on Steam. So their first teaser trailer was actually a shadow drop. So from their very first debut, like the actual debut as who they are on the world, on the internet, to the first teaser trailer and the actual shadow drop, it took exactly 1 year. Because as you can see, their first debut video was on December 15th, 2013, and Subnautica's first teaser trailer and the shadow drop was of course December 16, 2014. Let's keep that in mind and move over to Below Zero because it's really interesting. So after they launched Subnautica on consoles with a beautiful trailer, the next thing we got was a Below Zero early access trailer. And lo and behold, the shadow drop trend continues, as the trailer, it was announced on January 30th, 2019, and it ended with available now. Unknown worlds, they love to do that kind of thing. And if you look over here at the wiki, it says that it was initially considered to be a sequel to Subnautica, but with the recent announcement of the third game in the series having the working title Subnautica 2, the game is now considered, the game being Below Zero, a spin-off. Announced in August 2018, the game was released into early access in January 2019. So I'm assuming, and this is where I need help from the Subnautica community in the comments, the August 2018 announcement, because I can't find it anywhere on like YouTube or in form of an announcement on a showcase. I'm guessing this was done to their own community, either on their Discord server or on their website, something low-key, probably like a blog post. That's where my predictions lies, but when it comes to the actual trailer, the first showcase of the game in video format, it was just a shadow drop. This of course brings us to present day with Subnautica 2, which for once, it was not a shadow drop with a trailer. This is in fact the first time we have had an official Subnautica trailer that's not a shadow drop. Again, I'm not counting the dev blogs that went before the Subnautica teaser trailer for the first game. I'm just talking an actual teaser trailer. So Subnautica 2 teaser trailer, it actually, instead of saying available now, it said early access coming 2025. Now why is that? Here's gonna be my tinfoil hat theory and why I'm even making this video. Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero really gave unknown worlds a footing in the game world. Games come and go so fast, it's really hard these days to make a name for yourself. And Unknown Worlds and Subnautica is now such an established brand, and I feel like they wanted to really capitalize on it by this time having their game be shown at a showcase. Correct me if I'm wrong guys, but Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero, their first teaser trailers were just on YouTube, right? They were not part of a big showcase like the Xbox showcase we had. last month. My personal theory is this time they wanted way more eyes on this. I talked about this in my Silksong popularity video, how big of an impact these showcases can have on people even if they're known. So known like Team Cherry with Hollow Knight, showcasing your games at these big showcases can draw so many more new eyes onto your product. I feel like Unknown Worlds wanted something similar for Subnautica too. They saw the opportunity with the Xbox making a presentation and they took it. Now you might be wondering, why not take a slot later down the line, right? When you're more closer to launch? A, announcing a little bit earlier helps build up hype, get people talking about it like I am right now. And B, these slots are very expensive, especially for something as big as Xbox. From what I've read on the internet, the cost of these varies a lot depending on the scope of the game. It could go from $10,000 to millions of dollars for big AAA games, of course, showcasing at such a big event like Summer Game Fest or Xbox Showcases, the Game Awards, where so many eyes get to be on your game. Either way, Subnautica is such a known entity at this point. I bet showcasing the Subnautica 2 teaser trailer at the Xbox event cost Unknown Worlds a decent chunk of doubloons. If they were to release Subnautica 2 in the later half of 2025, there's no point of purchasing an expensive showcase slot now in November 2024 like they did. It would make way more sense to do it around summer, the big Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase events. Paying big money now, not shadow dropping like they usually do with Subnautica and Below Zero, it just makes me believe that they were a bit shy of making the game into an initial release stage, developing it enough that it's polished enough to be in early access, but it wasn't also so far off that they had to wait all the way till summer. So that immediately in my mind accessed the later half of 2025. So I genuinely believe it will be in the first half because of the reasons I mentioned. But when in the first half? I wanted to go over the Subnautica 2 official Discord server for this one. So if you go there, there is a welcome and to Subnautica 2 info section, which is basically like an FAQ. It has some really juicy, good information. One question I want to focus on is how long will early access last? It is difficult to accurately predict how long early access will last. Based on previous early access games we have developed, we expect it to be about 2 to 3 years. We're focusing on developing quality at a reasonable pace. At the end of the day, we are dedicated to completing Subnautica 2 and making it the best game possible. This is again why I compared it to Subnautica and Below Zero with release date, looking at how they did things in the past versus what they're doing now, because they themselves said that they don't really want to switch up the formula too much. Subnautica was in early access for 4 years. Well, 3 years technically, because it did come out at the end of 2014, but you get the point. And before I read this, I was under the impression that they want to release Subnautica 2 in a much more complete state, where the game will probably be in early access for a few months and then it will have a full launch very soon. But I guess not. And I think that's a very good thing, to be honest, for 2 reasons. Number one, they don't have to polish it so much. They can release it in a pretty unfinished state if they plan to stay in early access for 2 to 3 years, which bodes well for our release date prediction. And number 2, it helps them not make mistakes that they did with Subnautica Below Zero by taking in feedback way better, hopefully this time, on what the community actually wants from this game and making the final product a step above Subnautica Below Zero, the proper sequel this game always deserved. Based on all of that, right? And going back to this information I showed, where from their initial announcement to the Below Zero release date, it took about 4 to 5 months. The fact that Subnautica 2 was announced in November, the fact that I think it's gonna be out before the big summer gaming events, taking in the 4 to 5 months with Below Zero announcement and this one, all the facts and knowledge in this game combined, I think we'll probably get this game around March 2025. And I think it's gonna be a similar situation now, where now that they have had eyes on the game, by paying Xbox and having it be in their showcase, they're gonna do a launch trailer, like the early access launch trailer on their YouTube channel, and it's gonna basically be like, oh, available today, available now. I could also see it come a little bit earlier, but just to be safe, I'm going to say March. If you look at just the release schedules of upcoming games next year, February is kind of packed with big things like Assassin's Creed, Civilization 7, Kingdom Come 2, freaking Monster Hunter Wilds. March is looking really sparse and will help Subnautica 2 stick out way more when there's not a lot to play. Of course, I could be dead wrong and this video will age super poorly, or I could be 100% on the money. And after their initial early access launch, on their Discord server, one question is, will you be sharing dev updates? And they say yes, development updates will be provided throughout our Discord and social channels. More info will follow in 2025. So I'm assuming the same thing will happen with Subnautica, where after their initial early access launch, they will continue to provide major dev updates throughout 2-3 years for the whole game's development, and I will be covering all of them. I'll be making so many videos on this game, from let's plays to news to speculation, all kinds of wild content. I hope you guys stick around for that when that comes out, but I do want to know your prediction. I really am curious to see what you guys are predicting for Subnautica 2's release, when we might see that game. Either way, I just don't think we'll be waiting too long. I know they said 2025, but realistically speaking, I really think it's going to be the first half of 2025. And again, in the later half of 2025, there's just so many big games coming out. Usually AAA studios save their major titles for later half of the year, like Grand Theft Auto 6. If we get Silksong and Subnautica 2 in the first half of 2025, I might just literally implode. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me yap about Subnautica 2. I'll see you soon with a new video. Primacon, signing out.